Let's talk about these different defenses. Is this a strategy on the part of the defense, or is it a fluff up?
Well, I think there's been a lot of criticism about how this has been dealt with, because normally relating to a person's mental state and his, if he has any type of disorder that affects him mentally and the way he acted, or whether he acted rationally or not, that should be disclosed right up front. Surely this is a factor that everybody knew about in the defense team. Surely Oscar disclosed it to them. And why was it not dealt with then? Why wasn't it dealt with during Oscar's own testimony? Why now afterwards? So the argument goes, well, hang on, they're trying to sort of cover up certain problems and say, well, this is the reason why Oscar's testified badly, because he has this anxiety disorder, which might have explained what he did at the time, and might be a way to try and explain why he testified so poorly in his defense.
But now that these three defenses have been put before Judge Masipa, how does she make a decision on which to believe and which to discard?
Well, she could very well reject all of them. I believe actually there's probably four different defenses, with this the latest one, and discard all and say, look, his evidence, because of that, his evidence is false. You're changing as the trial goes to suit you. He's fitting in this way or that way, and reject his evidence and in its entirety, and say, look, your version that you acted in self-defense, that you thought there was an intruder behind that door, is rejected, and then say, well, the only other conclusion is that you intended to kill Reva.
Could you very briefly take us through the four defenses that you believe have been presented?
Well, the first one is that he acted in self-defense. So in other words, he was aware of what he was doing, he knew there was an intruder, and he acted to kill the intruder because he thought he was in danger or in imminent danger.
That's of course what Oscar Pistorius said in his testimony.
Yes, and that's how we understood it to be at the bail hearing, and what the defense was saying is what he's going to tell the court. Then we have the issue of it's an accident. So, that's another version. Then you have the evidence that Oscar's also gave at one point, that he wasn't aware that he pulled the trigger. He wasn't aware that there were 4 shots fired. In other words, he knew what he was doing, but at that split second, he, for various reasons, wasn't aware of what he was doing. Now we have possibility of a mental illness or defect, which could indicate that at the time, because of this disorder, this possible mental defect or illness, he couldn't distinguish between right or wrong, or that at the time that the trial's on, he actually, can't understand the court proceedings, if it's found, obviously, that there is this disorder. So that's how I view the 4 different versions that Oscar has presented to the court.